The 76 Raiders were a collection of outlaws from all the major penitentiaries around the country. Some of them were real good athletes, some of them I didn't think were very good athletes. They were just intimidating types, would try and hurt people.
From the opening bell to the closing bell, you're going to get hit. You're going to get hit hard, and you're going to get hit consistently. We wanted to leave them with an impression that, hey, it's not a contact sport, this is a collision sport, and that's what we did. We made collisions with wide receivers.
If he did make a catch, he paid a big price for it. He was going to get hit, you know, he was going to get abused verbally, physically, any other thing we could do to take his mind off of what he had to do and just intimidate him a little bit.
When you thought of the Raiders and the mystique of the Raiders, you knew going into the ball game that you were going to get hit. Now the key was whether you was going to get hit fairly or whether it was going to be a cheap shot.
It was just kind of a feeling that once you became a Raider, you were going to go out and you were going to destroy people, you were going to hit them, you were going to intimidate them, and like we used to say in practice, first one cries a sissy.
The many crybabies left in the wake of the Silver and Black's bullying included the New England Patriots, who lost to the Raiders in the 1976 playoffs. But this game eventually resulted in one Patriot exacting a measure of revenge for a controversial play.
It was a play where Phil Villapiano, outside linebacker, is covering me. I have to battle him off the line. He's hanging out of my face mask, punching me in the throat. Typical Raider defense. And I make the break to the sideline. He's right there and grabs my hands and my arms to my side. Everybody in the country can see this. I turn to Ben Dreith, who's a line judge, and he's looking at clouds. Phil Foo Villapiano. I wanted to kill him. Just on that play alone, I wanted to kill him. So a couple of weeks later, he's in Hawaii to do the Superstar competition, and we go flying to take he and his wife to Maui. I had a charter service. Halfway between Oahu and Molokai, I tilt the plane up 90 degrees, I open the door and start to push him, and he thinks he's going out the door at 10,000 feet. And his wife was clawing at me, and Phil was screaming at the top of his lungs. There was no way he was going to stay on that airplane. We'd do a couple rolls, loops, you know, whatever, and phew, he'd be fish food.
Earlier that year, after New England had defeated the Raiders, Francis discovered that the Raiders' mystique flourished even when they weren't flushed with success.
I went into their locker room after the game to kind of gloat a little bit, and I knew also they were the only team in the league that allowed cold beer in the locker room, or any beer for that matter. So someone finally directed me around to where Ted Hendricks was, and he's sitting in a stall in the bathroom. There's beer bottles, he's been there for a while. Beer bottles sitting around the stall, and he turned around and took a $100 bill out of his wallet and threw it in the toilet. And I said, "What are you doing throwing a $100 bill in the toilet?" He said, "Well, when I was standing up, brought my pants up, a $5 bill fell out of my front pocket into the toilet. I wasn't going in there for $5. That was the Raider mentality. That was what you were dealing with. That's what you're playing against. Those guys are weird.
The weirdness was no mask, and the team's bad boy image was shaped during a summer camp that seemed more like a funny farm, thanks to unofficial activities director Phil Villapiano, number 41.
I thought the boys would like to have a little entertainment, so I found this lovely young lady down the bar the night before, and I paid her to show up at practice, and she streaked the practice field. Man blows a whistle, time out. Go ahead, do what you got to do. Now get out of here, you know.
Villapiano, with his antics, every year he would form these different events for us to keep camp from being so monotonous. He would break the monotony with these different games, and they were all about who could cheat the best.
I remember in one hockey tournament that year, they put this is air hockey, okay? They put a plastic glass across one of the goals, so none of the pucks from the opposing team could go in, and it was unnoticed till the final game that why the team had got there to the playoffs.
We had one rule with the Raiders when we were playing golf, and that was if you wasn't cheating, you wasn't trying. It was a fun team to be around.
We were about a family, teamwork, and we believed in that old saying, once a Raider, always a Raider. And we were Raider players that believed in one another, and we showed it on the field as well as off the field.
The 1976 Raiders mystique was part fun, part ferocity. And this split personality helped them attain the singular identity of a champion.